Hello there! This is today's edition of the Let's Go Tribe off-season Q&A. I'm Matt. Thanks for dropping by. As you'll notice, we've got the old cell phone interface up today instead of the nice version that has the graphics on the side and the nice webcam and all of that. It seems like, anyway, my particular neighborhood in Chicago doesn't have quite the upload bandwidth to handle it on Sunday afternoons, probably because of Netflix bingers. They have every right to binge on Netflix, as we all do. But in any case, we don't have the agenda for what we're going to talk about today on the side. So what I want to hit is Tribefest just happened this weekend. And just before that, we found out for sure that the Indians are getting the 2019 All-Star Game, which is very exciting stuff. We are also... there was something else, too. I'm not even sure what it is. Oh, there's a couple transactions that the Indians might be taking a look at here. So, with that, we'll start out. Hello, Carrie and Wilson. Thanks for dropping by. I am very excited for Out of the Park 18 because I'm excited for every version of Out of the Park. Maybe there will be new, fun, and interesting ways to torture Brian Shaw. Because why not? So, if you got to go to Tribefest, like the title says, definitely would be interested for you to chime in the comments and tell us a little bit about it. I think Carrie went based on what I saw on Twitter, which is fun. We've got a little recap on the news and notes this morning talking about it. There's a video of Edwin Encarnacion talking about his first impression of some of the teammates here and some of the different things that he was able to talk about with his team. We've also got a video on Lindor talking about, it just says ready for his first classic. I'm not sure exactly what it refers to. And I can't pull up the video right now. And then Kluber talking about the pennant run, which was a pretty cool video to watch as well. There's also links to the official MLB page there showing some of the other things that went on during it. I guess there were about 7,000 fans that showed up, which is excellent. There's a lot of momentum behind the team right now, and it's exciting to see this many fans continuing to turn out for this kind of thing. If you give me a quick moment here, I'm remembering now, it's been a while since we've done it on the phone. Not all the comments pop up on here because Facebook is weird. So I'm going to set up another screen real quick as I haphazardly knock over a controller to take a look at those as they emerge. Andy says he did get to go to Tribefest, and it looks like he scored an impressive number of autographs there. Yeah, and I'm not surprised at all that it was an awesome day. It's something that I've wanted to do for a couple of years now. It's just my schedule hasn't worked out that I've ever been able to make it during that weekend, sadly. Although I might be moving to Columbus in March, and yet somehow still don't know, which would make it much easier to do that next year, which is also an exciting thing. Speaking of exciting things, the Indians are officially going to host the 2019 World Series. There are some circumstances that people have wondered about that might be attached to that. I won't go over that here, but it is awesome. I wrote a little bit about it in the announcement piece that we posted on the site. I think a lot of the reason the Indians got it is because they've done an incredible job with Progressive Field. It's been amazing what their commitment has been to keep everything upgraded, continue to add other facilities from Cleveland. You've got Momochos, you've got Fatheads, you've got... Did I say World Series? Well, I think there's a good chance we'll get it in 2019 as well, but I certainly meant to say the All-Star Game. And there are the comments. Awesome. And it's still not showing all of them. It says there's 10 and I see like 7. I don't understand. whatever. Anyway, it's one of the best ballparks in baseball. It always has been. There are, I think, 3 teams in the majors that have built stadiums after the Indians and then already built new ones. So I think it's a great thing that they've done for the community. One, not asking for municipal bonds or tax money to try to build a new stadium, which it's an entire other discussion that I'm passionate about and won't get into right now. But it's been the home for the Indians almost the entire time they've been one of the best teams in the American League, because it opened in 1994. And Bill Clinton actually threw out the first pitch at inaugural day, which is a fun video if you've never gone and seen it. But I'm going to go one way or the other. I will find a way to be there for the All-Star game. And if you have a way to drop by, at least for part of the weekend festivities, I think that would be a good time. Maybe we could have, and I'm not saying we should start planning Let's Go Tribe meetups 2.5 years in advance, but that could be a lot of fun to get sort of a swarm of people from the site, get a lot of reactions and everything going, and live videos for that. And who the hell knows what we'll be doing 2 years from now with the technology that will probably emerge with this site. As far as transactions go, we've got some rumblings that the Indians are still in on relief pitchers, which shouldn't be too surprising for anyone because teams are almost always looking for relief pitchers. But Ken Rosenthal pointed out that former Indian Craig Breslow, I think is Breslow, it could be Braslow or Broslow or Brent. They're apparently looking at him. He's lowered his arm slot, and evidently that's helped him to be more effective now moving forward. I don't think the Indians have a guy who throws sort of sidearmed or from a 3/4 type angle, at least not in the past couple of years. But it's definitely something that's interesting to me because it seems like with pitchers especially, one adjustment can take them from sort of a quadruple A type player to elite. And it never makes any sense, but just that split second of difference, if you can get that advantage on a hitter, they have less than a second to react to this pitch already, so any little advantage you can get is definitely important. Which, if you're interested in pitching and pitchers trying to get every last little bit of advantage out of their stuff, so to speak, there was a really, really good Baseball Prospectus piece that came up this past weekend. I'll link to it here for you guys. Jeff Long, Jonathan Judge, and Harry Pavlidis. Jonathan Judge is quickly becoming one of my favorite analysts when it comes to pitching. He's a sharp dude, as they say, but just pop that link into there. As with many baseball things, when it comes to pitching, Greg Maddux is sort of their model for it. But it starts with someone explaining they were looking at him from behind the plate, and it didn't really look like any of his pitches were moving that much at all compared to, I forget who the pitcher was next to him, but there were about 70 of them in the 90s for the Braves that were all filthy. Just pointing out, like, his breaking balls were dramatic, and you could see a ton of movement on it, whereas with Maddux, there were some pitches where it's like, I don't know if that was a curve or a two-seamer, because they both looked the same. I'm not really sure if it moved at all. But Maddux said, and this was more than 20 years ago, I'm not trying to get it to move a lot. I'm trying to get it to break late. Because they break it down in the graphics there. There's a moment after which, if the ball moves, the hitter can't respond to it. So Maddux was intentionally trying to throw pitches that get 3/4 of the way to the plate and then start to tail off. Because any little bit of movement at that point, the hitter can't do anything, and they're probably going to miss, or weak contact will be induced. So I would be especially interested. You look at a team like the Cubs, who have all of these pitchers that keep getting weak contact and have the lowest batting average on balls in play in the league, basically. I'd be interested to hear if they are in on pitch tunneling and have been for a while. Because that's one of the fun things about the analytics community in baseball is, for fans, it's all outside of the clubhouses for the most part. But there are some ways in which the teams are already on top of things because they keep hiring people from outside of baseball who do great baseball research. August Fagerstrom, actually, who was writing for Fangraphs for a while, got hired by someone, and I don't think it's been announced who it is yet. And that was just fun because he started, I think he went to Kent State and was the Indians beat writer on MLB.com for a while. So hometown boy, now working for a Major League Baseball team. Again, I definitely think it's worth a read. We just wrapped up the Prospect Top 20. If you want to go back and take a look at that. It was pretty fun to see everyone's comments. And I know it's a lot of fans' favorite features from the off-season is taking a look to see what other fans think are the best prospects. I think Francisco Mejia was the most dramatic jump from last season, of course, because he had the 50-plus game hit streak, and we almost lost him in the Lucroy deal that didn't come through, or didn't go through. But other than that, I mean, we're past winter meetings. We're past Tribefest. I think all of the big announcements the Indians would make this offseason have probably been made. I'm just waiting for pitchers and catchers to report. There's another article from Brian Heminger this morning pointing out that four of those prospects are on the top 100 rankings. And I think a few more halfway through the season, if you were to re-rank it, will be as well, because some of the guys on that list, like Andrew Benintendi from the Red Sox, sure, he's technically still a prospect, but he had more than 100 plate appearances last season when he got called up. He was on the playoff roster. He's not going to be a prospect very much longer. He's up with the club. He's there to stay. And he's the number one overall guy now. Same thing with Yohan Moncada. He's probably going to start. I don't see any reason for him not to, unless I'm vastly overestimating his age, but I thought he was knocking on the door already. He's 21, but I have a feeling there's no reason for the White Sox to waste any time with him now, especially given what they gave up. They're not going to contend next season. Why not give the guy a chance to get some Major League experience unless he's flailing the first couple of months? Kerry points out it's only 14 days until pitchers and catchers report. Because I don't know where I'm living in March, it is unfortunate that I'm not going to be able to go to spring training this year. I'm hoping to do it next year. I always got to go growing up because we lived in Florida and the Indians were still at Winter Haven, so at least one day out of the year we would go ahead and catch a game down there. And then sometimes we would even stay for a weekend and catch 3 or 4 games, which in the mid-90s was a great thing to do. Somewhere at home, we still have a bunch of autographs from Lofton and Diskell. We got one from Hargrove, from Tomey. They were good times. That's about it from my end. Like I said, there's not too much going on here. Jason Williams asked earlier, when do single-game tickets go on sale? I don't know if the Indians have announced yet. March 3rd. Nope, that was in 2014. Thanks, the Google. I would say that's probably not a bad estimate for when it'll happen again. They don't have anything up on the website right now, but I would probably say a month before the season starts again. That'll be when they are going to go ahead and do it. And I did not know that Kerry's going to be singing the national anthem at one of the games and at a regular season game. That's awesome. You should put together a fan post on the website before and after to give us a recap of how it goes. I think a lot of people would be incredibly interested, myself included, to read about that experience because, I mean, someone sings it every single game, and I don't think it's very often you get to have the perspective of what it's like to go through that process before the game, what they do with you after the game. Like, do they just throw you into the bleachers? Do you have to leave and then come back in? I don't know. Maybe they all go to a prison camp. I hope not. And if they're 10-0 when you sing, then I think they should just let you do it for every game until you prove them wrong. So, cheers to that. I'm going to give myself a thumbs up. Why not? It's a pretty lazy Sunday here. Like I said, there's not too much team news for now. As things unfold, we'll of course be on top of it. But let's go, Tribe. And thanks for dropping by. It'll be a lot more fun once spring training starts because we'll have actual games and actual baseball to talk about instead of hypotheticals or possible relievers we might give minor league contracts. So yeah, have a great weekend.